Sarah and I had been together for 3 years, and like any couple, we yearned for a break from the monotony of our daily lives. We decided to rent a cozy Airbnb for a staycation in our hometown of Seattle, Washington. After hours of scrolling through listings, we stumbled upon a charming century-old house nestled in the heart of the city. The photos showcased a beautifully renovated interior with antique furniture, ornate chandeliers, and a lovely garden. The house had a rich history, having once belonged to a prominent local family. Excited about the prospect of a unique getaway, we booked the property for a long weekend. The plan was simple: relax, explore the city, and cap it off with a small party with our closest friends. When we arrived at the Airbnb, we were immediately captivated by its old-world charm. Our host, a friendly elderly woman named Mrs. Anderson, greeted us warmly and provided a brief history of the house. She mentioned that the previous owners had passed away in the house, but assured us that it was just a part of the house's history. As the weekend unfolded, we explored Seattle's iconic landmarks during the day and returned to the house in the evening, savoring its cozy atmosphere. On the second evening of our stay, we decided to invite our friends over for a small party to celebrate our getaway. Our friends arrived, and the house soon echoed with laughter. We danced in the spacious living room, shared stories on the antique furniture, and toasted to our enduring friendships. The party was a great success, and as the clock approached midnight, our friends began to head home. Left alone in the dimly lit house, Sarah and I felt a sense of contentment and closeness we hadn't experienced in a while. We retreated to the master bedroom, decorated with vintage wallpaper and an antique vanity. As we lay in bed, our laughter from the party still echoing in our ears, we heard it, the faint sound of footsteps in the hallway outside our door. Sarah and I exchanged puzzled glances, assuming one of our friends had returned to retrieve something. But when we opened the door, the hallway was empty. We checked the rest of the house, finding nothing amiss. Chalking it up to tiredness and the after effects of the party, we returned to bed. The next evening, the strange occurrences continued. Lights flickered, and objects inexplicably moved on their own. We heard whispers in the night and felt a chilling presence in the house. Unease replaced the initial excitement we had felt. Determined to debunk the strange events, Sarah and I decided to do some research on the house. After a quick online search, we discovered a dark secret. The house had a history of mysterious deaths dating back to the 1920s. Curious and increasingly concerned, we reached out to Mrs. Anderson, our Airbnb host, for more information. She reluctantly admitted that the house had been rumored to be haunted for decades, but assured us that it was just local folklore. Sarah and I weren't satisfied with folklore. We decided to investigate further, reaching out to local historians and paranormal experts. We delved into the house's history, uncovering stories of tragic deaths, unexplained phenomena, and eerie sightings. As we delved deeper into the house's dark past, we couldn't help but feel that our staycation had taken a terrifying turn. We questioned our own sanity as we experienced more paranormal activity, including apparitions and ghostly whispers. One night, while in the bathroom, I looked into the mirror and saw a shadowy figure named Gene. His form was shrouded in darkness, but his piercing red eyes were unmistakable. He seemed to beckon me, his voice a chilling whisper in my mind. "Join us, Michael," Gene said, his voice a haunting blend of seduction and menace. "Embrace the darkness that lurks within." Sarah, too, had her own encounters with Gene. She described how she would see his dark form moving around the house, particularly in the dimly lit corners and the shadows of the garden. He would appear in mirrors, his presence growing more tangible with each passing day. Gene's voice haunted our dreams, his words a constant torment. He seemed to revel in our fear, taunting us with cryptic messages and foreboding warnings. With each passing day, the house's grip on us tightened, and our relationship began to unravel under the weight of the haunting. Sarah and I were faced with a terrifying choice: leave the house and the city we loved, or confront the malevolent force that threatened to tear us apart. As Sarah and I endured Jean's torment, it became increasingly clear that we couldn't stay in that Airbnb any longer. The relentless encounters had drained us emotionally and physically. One fateful night, we made the agonizing decision to pack our bags and leave the house behind, seeking refuge in our own home. But even as we stepped outside the cursed Airbnb, we couldn't escape Jean's malevolent presence. Mirrors in our own house reflected his sinister figure, and his chilling whispers followed us, a constant reminder of the darkness that had latched onto us. "You can never escape me," Jean's voice echoed in our minds. "I am attached to you now, bound by the very darkness that sought to consume me." Back in the safety of our home, we tried to regain some semblance of normalcy, but it proved impossible. Jean's haunting continued unabated. We couldn't focus at work, and our families grew increasingly worried about our deteriorating mental states. With no other options, we made the difficult decision to seek help. We were both admitted to a mental hospital where we hoped to find respite from the relentless torment that had plagued us since that ill-fated staycation. In the hospital, Sarah and I shared our harrowing story with the psychiatric staff. They listened with a mix of skepticism and concern. And it wasn't until we met with a compassionate therapist named Dr. Martinez that we found someone who believed us. Dr. Martinez delved into the history of the cursed Airbnb and uncovered a chilling truth. Mrs. Anderson, our host, had been a dedicated follower of demonic worship, and her son, Jean, had been a victim of her sinister rituals. She had bound his soul to the house as part of a dark pact with malevolent forces. The revelation sent shivers down our spines. Jean had been enslaved to the house, and our presence had unwittingly set him free. But he had attached himself to us, seeking revenge for his years of suffering. Dr. Martinez, determined to help us break free from Jean's grasp, enlisted the expertise of a renowned exorcist, Father Rodriguez. Together, they performed a harrowing exorcism that tested the limits of their faith and resolve. As they chanted ancient incantations and wielded holy relics, Jean's malevolent presence fought back with all its might. The room filled with a palpable darkness, and we felt the weight of his hatred bearing down on us. But after a grueling battle, the exorcism prevailed. Jean's spirit was torn away from us, his anguished screams echoing in our ears. We were left feeling empty but finally free from the malevolent force that had haunted us for so long. With Jean's release, our lives slowly began to return to normal. We left the mental hospital, our sanity restored, and our bond stronger than ever. The cursed Airbnb was forever abandoned, its dark secrets laid bare. The authorities arrested Mrs. Anderson for her role in the demonic worship and the tragic death of her son. She faced justice for the horrors she had unleashed upon innocent souls. Sarah and I rebuilt our lives, forever scarred by our encounter with the supernatural but grateful to have each other. The darkness that had plagued us was finally vanquished, and we were determined to cherish every moment of the life we had fought so hard to regain. And as we looked to the future, we knew that our love would be the light that would guide us through any darkness that might still lurk in the shadows.